Well, that kind of sucks. I had a hangnail, so it looks like I'm going to have blood in this episode, but it was just from a hangnail. I probably need to cut my nails. One other thing to do with the update. Any case, this is really just an update on the channel. A couple things that I wanted to, well, I fell behind with a lot of things that were going on in the family and the house and everything. Most of you are aware of Kitty's passing. My cat Daisy, she succumbed basically most likely to either thyroid cancer or pancreatic cancer. It could have been either one. She was being treated for both of them for a while. Problems with her pancreas and problems with her thyroid. And so things really slowed down around the old Knife Chats studio with her going down and her demise and everything, and trying to figure out what the future should be with the channel. I have decided, as you probably noticed, that like Leo the Lion from MGM, I see absolutely no reason not to have her still introduce the channel. So you will still see Daisy meowing or roaring at the beginning of every video, kind of in homage to her. And you might see some other photos of her show up, especially at the end of this video, more or less as a memorial to her. And that's because, well, she was a big part of Knife Chats. She really was. She starred in quite a few episodes and everything else. So I see no reason not to keep her memory alive on the channel. I have no plans on replacing her. There's not another Kitty in the future. She was a one-of-a-kind cat, truly, in many ways. Beyond being an odd-eyed cat, she was just truly an amazing cat. You would not believe the kind of things she could do. Even right up to the end, she was still able to leap a distance of about 7 foot long and 4 feet higher from a counter to the top of a china hutch in one just fell swoop. But it was definitely, you could see it in her. She was in a lot of pain, a lot of misery going on with her, and it was really time for her to go. She had basically stopped eating and drinking water. She had dropped from 11 pounds, a healthy 11 pounds, to down to 7 pounds, and it just wasn't right to keep her suffering. But as I said, her memory will live on, and we do need to kind of move on from there. So I thought what I would do is try and do a little bit of catch up and show you a couple knives that have arrived, a couple of questions that were asked of the channel that I never got around to answering, and a few other things that are upcoming, hopefully in the very near future. And one of my plans is to once again try and get sack snippets going, which is where I will talk about a Swiss Army knife for 5 to 7 minutes. This is not going to be like my regular Wednesday or Sunday thing. This is going to be something extra on top of that, where I will just do a very short video on a Swiss Army knife and not go into great details on it, so that I can show things like this knife here, which is a knife I got at an estate sale about 10 years ago, in the box, brand new, and it's a small tinker, and a relatively old small tinker. It's before the days of them putting the can key in there, but it does have the nail file and everything. So these are the kind of knives that I want to talk about in sack snippets. So it'll be like about a 5 or 10 minutes tops video on you know, how to date a knife like this or something like that, or some other detail about it. But as you can see, this one came with everything, including the instructions on how to use the a can opener, and just a pretty cool knife. So you'll see that eventually in sack snippets, my small tinker and other Swiss Army knives. And what I think I'll also do is do videos on other knives that just don't warrant a full, blown review or anything, but still deserved a little airtime. For instance, William's Knife Life, he loves novelty knives, and I've got quite a few novelty knives. And so, do they deserve a 15 or 20 minute review about how great the steel is, considering they really have junk steel in them and everything else? I mean, 420 steel, it's not the world's worst. But it's fun to look at them and talk about them for 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes tops or something like that. This is the 25th anniversary Smoky Mountain Knife Works knife. A single blade knife. This one, as you can see here, Novelty Knife Company USA. And the interesting thing is if you notice, see the blade on here, and it's flat on this side. So it's got like the chisel grind going, or whatever you want to call it, on the blade. And these were the last of the novelty knives that were made in the USA before they went to China. And basically, once they went to China, the quality of the knives actually improved. So that's something to think about. So, these kind of knives will be something that you'll see in just a very short knife chat short or something like that. I don't know. I know I called these, this is going to be called Sack Snippets. Maybe this will be like knife chat shorts. Other knives you might see in it are things like this, which is I bought this one, thank you very much, Knife Detector. This was bought simply because Knife Detector showed something similar on his channel. This is a Smith & Wesson cutting horse. Notice they got the little guy on there. They called everything a cutting horse. But this is a ripoff of the Spyderco Dyad. I bought this thing for like $5. And what you have on it is one blade is has your scalloped or serrated edge there. Surgical China. They claim these were 440C. I doubt it seriously. And you've got 2 backlocks on it. And then the other blade is the straight blade or fine edge. You see there, cutting horse, Smith & Wesson. So, I'll do videos on these kind of knives as a short. Do they really warrant going beyond that? I don't even know the history of them, and I don't feel like getting the history of them. If I ever do get the history of it, I will. This one's a liner lock version of it. I believe the Dyad, the Spyderco Dyad, it was a lockback version. But yeah, so those funky 2-bladed knives. And people think, really, why would anyone have a crazy knife like that? Well, no one's, well, people do say that about the muskrats, but at least the muskrats, at least these knives, unlike the muskrats, have a straight edge and a serrated edge. Muskrats typically just have 2 fine edges or plain edge knives, blades, not a straight edge, plain edge. Anyway, this is pretty much just an update on the channel. I did something about Girl Scout knives. I finally got the other 2 Girl Scout knives that were made by Utica or Cutmaster. This is the one from the 70s, basically. Notice it's got the Girl Scout logo on there. I have one that's earlier, that's the clear acrylic one. Should have brought it out, but you already saw it. And this was the last of the Girl Scout knives made by Cutmaster. Notice it's supposedly wood, but it's basically just plastic that kind of looks like almost like an ice cream or something. And it's got the same logo on both sides. This is the tri-head logo that they talk about. And there it is on the other side too. The cool thing about these knives, though, this version of the Girl Scout knife, notice how they got the little trefoil there. When you hang it, it displays correctly, so it's pretty cool. Anyway, so talked about those already. I'll probably do a more extensive video on that in the future. I think I mentioned this knife before. I had the Mediterranean Blue Bone Steel Warrior knife. Remember, it had lost its shield, and I jammed in a piece of aluminum foil to make a new shield, and then I found the shield. Well, it is glued back into place now, And so I've got the knife complete again. And it was really weird. I mean, I was basically sweeping the floor and saw this little thing on the floor, and it's like, what in the world is that? And it was the shield to this knife. I'd lost it months ago, so if I can find the shield to this knife, then it seems to me that Williams Knife Life should be able to find Cracky. He's probably hid it on purpose just to keep people in suspense. Eventually, Cracky will show up, and there'll be a big party and everything. It'll be like the prodigal son coming home. Oh, and somebody had asked about other desk knives or letter openers that I have. This is one of them I have. I've got other ones too. I don't know where all my letter openers are. The problem is I probably put them in a box and they're somewhere down in the basement. I found this one in a junk drawer. So it was being used, you know, by the office and stuff. And this is one by Imperial. Yeah, Imperial. Providence, USA. So this is one made probably around 1988 or so. Providence, Rhode Island, USA. Yeah. So this is probably one of them. Probably came out in the 70s or 80s. But it's got the nice little clip blade here on this side, so you can do some cutting and everything. And then you have the wood grain handle going on. This is not true wood. It just looks like wood. And then a nice long pokey thing. And I've also got a knife similar to this that's a pharmacist spatula. So I gotta, maybe once I find a couple more of my letter openers, I'll do a video on all of them. But for the moment, just wanted to show you, yeah, I do have more than just the one case desk knife, but this is the ones that I was at one time in earnest looking for, and now most of them are buried in the basement somewhere, just hiding. These little doohickeys, they were just off camera. I've got a couple of these. These are an interesting thing, and I've had them for a while, and I've been meaning to do a video on them, and I just never got around to it. And then someone was showing the Marvel Sportsman razor on Facebook, and I said, well, that looks like just an oversized corn razor. And for those who don't know what a corn razor is, well, this is a corn razor. You see the blade there, the funky shaped blade on there. And this one, which one? Who makes this one? There we go. Here's one from Robert Klass out of Germany. These things were popular, well, all the way back into the 30s and 40s and stuff, but they were still being used in the 60s and 70s. Here's another one. I don't know if this one is. This one is not even marked by who made them or anything, but it's got a nice plastic handle, the celluloid handle on there. And by corn razor, what they're talking about is what it does. Notice it acts like a straight razor, the way it opens and closes and everything. Well, what it's for is actually for removing a corn or a callus or something like that from your foot or from your hand. And, you know, where you would actually just take and cut off a chunk of meat. And, well, when you remove a corn and stuff, it actually doesn't hurt because it's all dead skin. But that's really what they're for. Nowadays, they usually use, like, sandpaper or something, but corn razors. And some of these things, especially these days, I got these a while back and they were dirt cheap, but these days, man, some of these things, I see them online and people are asking ridiculous prices for them, like 40, 50 bucks for an old corn razor. They sure weren't 40 or 50 bucks back in the day. Now, this is a knife I just recently purchased, and I will be doing a video on it soon, but I thought I'd break it out and show it real quick now. This is the CRKT Triple Play. It's a modern take on a bartender knife. One of the things, next time you see it, it may not have the clip on there. It's got black packwood handles. It's got a nice spear point blade. See that? And then the label cutting blade is actually a very short. They say it's a Warncliffe blade, but it does have a little bit of a angle to the cutting edge there. It's a label cutting blade, but it's pretty thick and substantial. Make a definitely excellent style of box cutter going on there. And you got your cap lifter here. I have not used it yet, so I don't know if the cap lifter works correctly. I have put it on a ring that basically mimics the size of a cap lifter, and it does seem to fit properly, so it might work pretty well. And finally, it's got the corkscrew of the old-fashioned bartender knife. So what I'm going to do is compare that with a couple other modern takes on bartender knives, as well as one of the classic bartender knives in an upcoming video. And something I've been doing recently for some crazy reason is I've been buying a bunch of knives, inexpensive knives with black plastic handles that basically were inspired by Spyderco's, and found this one online, and it's the N680 out of Taiwan, and it was made by Titan. I don't know when it was made or anything else, but it's got everything going for it that that reminds me of older Spyderco's. It's got the it could have been left or right hand. The clip did not come with it. I don't think it came with a clip. Might have taken the clip off, I don't remember. But it feels really good in the hand. It's a nice, it's a good typical 5-inch folding hunter. And I got that, and I want to kind of compare that with like the Gerber Easy Out and the Gerber Gator. These knives I've had for a while, and I have a couple other large modern takes on folding hunters that are all blacked out in black plastic, so I'll be looking at those in the near future, I hope. I also got this Buck Cub Light that I want to do a video on, and been wanting to do a video on this one for a while, and it's a pretty cool knife. This is a really nice buck. I think it's from I'm not even going to try and guess. I'll put the date of it somewhere down here. I'll just put in the date. I'm not going to just guess it off the top of my head. But it's a Buck Cub Light, and it uses a type of plastic that was known as Velox at the time. So I want to do a video on that, and as long as I'm doing that, I'll also probably talk about this one here, which is another buck. This is one I bought, and notice here, U.S. made, of U.S. and import parts. Now this knife, the Buck Cub Light, it's all U.S. made, including the Velox handle. I think the reason this says U.S. made of U.S. and import parts is because the new ones, the Buck Bantams, and this is the Bantam, which looks pretty cool. This is which one is it? The 24B, 284 CMS 24B. Okay, so the 284 Bantam, really nice looking knife. Yeah, 284. I believe the handle here, the FRN handle on this, is the material that comes out of China. So the handle, the plastic handle, or the FRN handle, is made in China. Buck gets it over here into the United States, and then they use it to assemble the knife. Either I don't think it's the metal parts, and I don't think it's the blade either. The blade is a Buck 420 high carbon steel blade, and pretty well made knife. And the Buck Bantam is what happened to the Buck Lights. This is the direction they went with them over time. So anyway, I'll do a more thorough review and talk about that in the near future. And then finally, I picked up this marbles for a very low price, the MR409. For those who don't know what it is, it's the, if I can get the box open. Man, that box is tight. And that's because the knife really doesn't fit the box too well. But it's the marbles US or GI Hawkbill. And talk a little bit about this knife. But I was really impressed with this when I got it, especially for the $7 that they paid for it. But you'll be surprised when I start talking about this knife. When I go over the history of it and everything else. So, is it perfect? Definitely not. But I tell you what, I think you'll be interested with a little bit of the backstory of the GI Hawkbill by Marbles. Anyway, I think with that said, I will let you go now. Hopefully, this didn't bore you too much. I think there's going to be some pretty cool things coming to the channel pretty soon. Well, with that said, I'll leave you with this, and I'll see you soon. Excuse me, is this the kitty show? Are we trying to do the kitty show today, huh? I'm trying to do an almost live here. You want to get down? Do you want to get down? I'm really, you're right in the middle of the shot, kitty. Almost gave you a real name out. Could you possibly get down? How about coming over here? How about over here? Can you hop down? Thank you. Can I start the show now? Please? You've been fed. But you've been fed. Hold on, I think we have a little bit of a disagreement on wages in the cat production team. I don't even know why I ended up getting this or how I ended up getting it. Got the liner release over there for it, I believe. Yeah, that's the liner, so you can pull it over and close it. Suppose that might be reversible clip. I don't know for certain. Probably could reverse the clip, but yeah, just not. have any other news that we have to announce, Kitty? No? She's trying to keep me on track because we always go over on these things, and she doesn't like me to do that. So, what do you think of the show so far? Was that a yes or a no? Thanks again for dropping by here at Knife Chats with Tobias. I'm Tobias. Kitty, here's the production staff. We both want to thank you very much for dropping by and spending a little time with us. We really do appreciate it. And don't forget, if you liked what you saw, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Kitty loves to hear that bell. Don't forget, thumbs up or that other nasty one there. And don't forget to leave a comment and share it with your friends. Kitty loves it when you share. Talk to you again soon. Right, Kitty?